I, 32, live with my husband, 35, and our two young children, a son, 5, and a daughter, 3, in a cozy suburban neighborhood. We have always been a close-knit family, with Sunday dinners at my parents' house and regular game nights with my siblings. However, everything changed when my family tried to sell my kidney without my consent. It all started when I received a mysterious phone call one afternoon while I was at work. The caller claimed to be a doctor from a local hospital and informed me that I had been listed as a potential kidney donor for a wealthy patient in need of a transplant. I was shocked and confused, as I had never agreed to such a thing. I immediately called my husband and rushed to the hospital to get to the bottom of this. When I arrived, I was greeted by my entire family, who had gathered in the waiting room. My parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, and even cousins were all there, looking at me with a mix of guilt and apprehension. It was then that my mother tearfully confessed that they had all conspired to sell my kidney to save my uncle's life. They had forged my signature on the consent forms and made arrangements behind my back. I was furious and devastated. How could my own family betray me like this? I felt violated and powerless, as if my own body had been taken away from me without my consent. My uncle, who was battling kidney failure, was in on the plan and pleaded with me to go through with the surgery for the sake of his life. But I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The first conflict erupted when I refused to go ahead with the surgery. My family begged and pleaded with me, trying to guilt-trip me into saving my uncle's life. They insisted that I was being selfish and heartless for not sacrificing my kidney for a beloved family member in need. However, I stood my ground and refused to be manipulated into something I did not agree to. The tension in the room was palpable, with emotions running high and tears flowing freely. As the days went by, the situation only escalated. My family resorted to manipulation and emotional blackmail, trying to coerce me into donating my kidney against my will. They withheld affection, ostracized me from family gatherings, and even threatened to cut me off from the family altogether if I did not comply. I was torn between my sense of duty to my family and my own rights as an individual. I sought legal advice and was informed that what my family had done was not only unethical but also illegal. They had committed fraud and forgery by forging my signature on the consent forms, and I had every right to press charges against them. However, I hesitated, torn between seeking justice and preserving what little was left of my shattered family. The fallout from the situation was catastrophic. My relationship with my family was irreparably damaged, with trust broken and wounds that may never fully heal. My husband stood by my side throughout the ordeal, offering unwavering support and understanding. He urged me to cut ties with my family for the sake of my mental and emotional well-being, even though it meant severing connections with loved ones I had known all my life. Update: I finally made the difficult decision to cut off my entire family. I blocked their calls, emails, and social media accounts, effectively shutting them out of my life. It was a painful and heartbreaking choice, but one that was necessary for my own survival. I had to prioritize my own well-being and mental health over toxic relationships that only brought me pain and suffering. As I sit here, surrounded by the remnants of my shattered family, I can't help but wonder, am I the asshole? Did I do the right thing by cutting off my family after they tried to sell my kidney without my consent? Or did I overreact and push away the only people who were supposed to love and support me unconditionally? The answer eludes me, lost in a sea of conflicting emotions and shattered trust. And so I am left to ponder the consequences of my actions, wondering if I will ever be able to reconcile with my family, or if this is truly the end of our once tight-knit bond. Only time will tell, as I navigate the treacherous waters of betrayal and forgiveness, trying to find peace in the midst of chaos. But for now, I am left alone, adrift in a sea of uncertainty, questioning everything I once held dear. Update: in the weeks that followed my decision to cut off my family, I found solace in therapy and support groups for individuals who had experienced similar betrayals. I learned to process my emotions, heal from the trauma, and rebuild my sense of self-worth that had been shattered by my family's actions. Despite the support I received from friends and loved ones, a part of me still longed for reconciliation with my family. I missed the familiar faces, the shared memories, and the sense of belonging that only family can provide. But every time I considered reaching out to them, the memories of their betrayal would come flooding back, reminding me of the pain they had caused. In a moment of weakness, I decided to unblock their numbers and social media accounts, hoping that maybe, just maybe, we could work through our differences and rebuild our fractured relationship. However, my attempts at communication were met with silence and indifference. It was as if they had already moved on, leaving me behind to deal with the aftermath of their deceit. Feeling rejected and abandoned once again, I realized that my family had never truly valued me as a person. I was seen as nothing more than a means to an end, a pawn in a twisted game of manipulation and control. The realization was both liberating and heartbreaking, as I came to terms with the fact that I was better off without them in my life. Conclusion: in the end, I am left with a bitter taste in my mouth, a sense of loss and betrayal that may never fully dissipate. My family will forever be tainted by the memory of their attempt to sell my kidney without my consent, a betrayal that cut deeper than any physical wound could. And while I may never be able to forgive them for their actions, I have come to accept that sometimes cutting ties is the only way to protect oneself from further harm. As for my family, I can only hope that they will one day realize the magnitude of their betrayal and seek forgiveness. But until then, I will continue to forge ahead, building a new life for myself, surrounded by those who truly value and respect me. The aftermath of their actions will forever haunt me, a scar that serves as a reminder of the importance of boundaries, self-respect, and the courage to walk away from toxic relationships, no matter how close they may seem.